fantasy short stories. Spoiled Riches by Cameron Craig. "It's called a crag brute?" Carl asked, steering his horse along the dirt path. He led a group of 3 other riders through a snow-covered ravine between 2 mountains. "Never heard of one before," he said, adjusting the fur coverings on his iron pauldrons. "That's what Paik said," called Ryuk from behind, adjusting his short sword sheathed around his goat-hide armor, pulling his blanket draped over his shoulders tighter to protect him from the snowfall. "Next job you pick for us, please make sure it's somewhere warm," Finley said, wrapping himself in a blanket like Ryuk's. "I'll give you some of my share." "Your teeth are chattering louder than your armor," Doric teased. Doric always had fun poking at Finley. "What's our payment anyway?" Doric asked, swiping the snow off his leather cap. "With this snow, it better be more than the last one you picked." 20 gold each," Ryuk said. "It's 20, Derek interrupted. "That's a month's work." The amount surprised Cal, too. "Did Paik increase his rates, or did you just get lucky finding this one?" "Paik said others were reluctant to take it upon finding out it's a crag brute," Ryuk said. Cal didn't believe the rumors that the beast was cursed. Some told him crag brutes were known to hoard riches. That rumor, he hoped, was true. "When we get back to Hutenon, I'm going to a bathhouse to take the longest and hottest bath," Finley said. "And I'll feast like a king." "Aye, so stop complaining," Carl demanded. "When are we going to talk about my share?" Doric asked. "I have to buy all my poisons, darts, and knives. You all don't have to pay for anything." "We told you," Finley said, smiling. "Once you can swing Carl's axe, we can talk about that." The axe on Carl's back was nearly as big as Doric, its shaft as big as his arms. Doric rolled his eyes, scoffing. "We're all equal. We all make the same pay," Carl called from the front, before motioning for the others to stop their horses. "We'll do the rest on foot. We're almost there." Carl dodged left, narrowly avoiding the crag brute's sharp claws. He counterattacked with a downward chop, striking the beast's wrist, blood spattering his snow-covered armor. The bipedal beast puffed its chest and let out an ear-piercing howl from the pain. The howl sent the 4 to their knees, in agonizing pain ringing in their heads. "We need light," Doric called out as he threw knives into the beast's back from behind it. The cave was dark and nearly impossible to see in. The beast lunged at Finley in the darkness. Cal couldn't see it, but heard the beast strike Finley in the chest and send him into the darkness behind the group, crashing into the cave wall. "Finley!" Cal yelled. "I'm okay," Finley yelled back from the darkness, groaning. Ryuk drew his short sword, which was covered in glyphs, markings etched out onto the blade. He ran his palm along the blade and pointed the tip at the beast. A few streaks of fire conjured from the blade, spinning and whirling in the air and lighting the beast's arm ablaze, illuminating the cave enough to fight. The beast was nearly 15 feet tall, with scale-like skin covered by a coarse brown fur. Its face had rock-like plating, strong enough to deflect any blade. The beast screamed and batted its arm to extinguish the fire as it climbed onto the ceiling of the cave using the large nails on its hands and feet. It swiped away at a few loose boulders that pummeled the ground, narrowly missing Ryuk. Carl ran after the beast as it scaled the sidewall. He swiped his axe and connected with the beast's leg. The beast turned and swung at Carl, but Carl ducked its claws. He followed with a spinning hack that severed the beast's left hand. Ryuk ran at the beast and plunged his short sword into the beast's back, running his hand along the hilt of the sword, causing an ethereal chain to manifest around the beast's right wrist. Ryuk abandoned his sword, ran and grabbed the chain, pulling from behind. The beast was pinned on its knees, its arm chained to the floor, looking up at the ceiling. From the shadows, Finley chopped downward at the beast's exposed neck, decapitating it with his longsword. The beast's head rolled along the floor as its body crumbled to the ground, shaking the cave. "Finley!" Call said, helping Finley, who fell to his knees. "I'm okay," Finley said, catching his breath. Ryuk retrieved his dagger from the beast's back as Darek helped Finley sit down. "He got me good," Finley said, looking over 2 thin, horizontal slashes that pierced his bloody breastplate. Ryuk grabbed supplies from one of their satchels resting against the cave wall. He formed a fire pit and used his sword ablaze to make a campfire. "Look at it," Call said, looking over the slain beast. "Maybe it's true. Maybe it was once a man." Call poked the beast's black, scale-like skin with his sword. "Where are the spoils?" Darek said, walking deeper into the cave, disappearing into the darkness. "Do you have any aid you can administer?" Call asked Ryuk. "I only know some simple curative spells," Ryuk said. "I don't know how to treat wounds such as this," he said, inspecting Finley's chest. "I'll be fine," Finley said. "I've had worse." "Sweet mother of magic," Darek called out from the darkness. He ran back into the campfire's light, holding a large golden urn. "There's so much more. There's at least 10 of these." "Do not touch that," Ryuk said. "Put it back." "What? Why? They have to be worth so much gold." "They could be cursed," Ryuk yelled. "I told you about this on the way here. You never listen." "I thought the beast was cursed, not the spoils," Call input. "All of it could be," Ryuk said. "We cannot take the chance. Just get what Peg told us to get and nothing more," he instructed Darek. Darek rolled his eyes and turned back around into the darkness. Call followed Derek. "By the sacred flame," Call mumbled in disbelief. Laying in the corner of the cave was at least a few years' worth of wages in gold and jewelry. It was enough to make them all some of the richest men in Hutanan overnight. Call looked at Derek, who struggled to put the urn back, but finally did. Call and Derek then rejoined Ryuk and Finley. "There's more than we could have possibly imagined there," Darek said. "You could take some," Finley said, laughing. "You could sell it and split the share with us. That way, if it's cursed, only you get afflicted." "Shut up," Derek said, smiling. Finley laughed again. "If you don't want to end up like this beast, then you won't touch it," Ryuk said. "Crag brutes are allegedly cursed, transforming into this creature due to its greed. It was once a man who came out to this cave to hoard his wealth. Hoarding wealth is a sin according to some sun-sworn scriptures." "So, others didn't want this job because the beast was too powerful," Call said. "They didn't want it because they didn't want to be tempted by the riches?" "If what the rumors say are true," Ryuk said. Was it worth the chance? Even split 4 ways, it was more gold than Call had ever seen or hoped to obtain in his life. He bounced his leg as he sat next to the campfire. His forearm began to feel weird, like a slight burning beneath his linens. "Well, we aren't leaving this cave tonight," Ryuk said, standing by the entrance. A blizzard ravaged outside. "Let's get our horses and bring them inside. We'll sleep here for the night and wait out the storm. What do you say, Call?" The group looked towards Call for his approval. "Very well," he said, remaining seated at the fire. "Aye," Finley said, mustering the strength to get to his feet. He walked to the cave entrance, touching his chest and grimacing. Darek followed. "Call?" Darek asked, turning around. "I'm coming," Call said, getting up from the fire. Once the others left the cave, Call quickly rolled up the linens on his arm. A black, burning smudge was smeared on his forearm. He rubbed at it, thinking it would alleviate the pain, but it didn't. He lowered his sleeve and walked toward the cave entrance. Call awoke, the fire still crackling between the four of them. "Ugh," he groaned, covering his nose. "It's already beginning to smell," he said to Darek and Ryuk, who were already awake, eating some of their rations. Call wafted his hand away from the crag brute's body. "It doesn't seem to bother him," Darek said, looking at Finley, who was motionless beside the fire. Call got up from his sleeping bag and checked the cave entrance, the blizzard still flurrying. "We'll probably have to stay for another night." "Figured," Ryuk said, annoyed. "I'm sorry, I can't predict the weather," he said to Darek, who shot him a gaze. "We should check on Finley's injury too," Call said. "We need to dress it until we get back to Houghton. "Should we wake him?" Darek asked. "Maybe sleep will do him good." Call knelt down beside Finley, who laid on his side, and tried to roll him onto his back. Finley's body gave little resistance, flopping over. "Finley?" No answer. Finley's skin was pale, his mouth agape, dried blood covering his sleeping bag. "Finley!" Call yelled, shaking Finley, but Finley's body only moved limply. "What happened?" Ryuk asked. "No!" Call yelled. "He was fine last night. How?" Ryuk knelt down beside Call and inspected Finley's chest. I don't know. This wound wasn't severe enough to kill him." "Well, it did," Cole yelled, standing up, pacing with his hands on his hips. "How?" Ryuk moved his hand over Finley's chest. "Are you sure the beast struck him?" "What?" Darek asked. "Did you see the beast strike him with its claws?" Ryuk asked Darek. "Cole, cut off one of the beast's nails and bring it here." Cole obeyed, grabbing a small dagger from his sleeping bag. "It was too dark," Darek said. "I didn't see anything. I only heard it." "Cole, you?" "No, it was too dark. It couldn't be anything else. They were right there in front of me, and then only barely in the darkness of the cave." Cole gave Ryuk the beast's nail. Ryuk held it to Finley's chest. The width of the nail was larger than the width of Finley's gashes. Ryuk then ran his hand under Finley's linens. He pulled his hand out, coated with a green liquid. Poison. There was only one of them who used poisoned-tipped blades. Ryuk and Call backed away from Darek. "What are you looking at me for?" Darek said. "You think I did this?" "Where are your poisons?" Call asked, slightly raising his dagger. "In my satchel. I did not strike Finley. Why would I kill him? Have you gone mad?" "You said before we got to the cave you wished for a higher cut of the payment because you have to buy your own poisons," Call accused. "Yes, I did. That doesn't mean I would kill Finley." "It's one less cut of pay you'd have to divide," Ryuk said. "You too? You think I did this?" "Finley wanted to take the spoils too," Ryuk said. "We can't stop you from taking the riches. We can only advise you against taking them as they could be cursed. Killing him meant you'd get to take it all for yourself." "And Finley wanted you to take it." "He was joking," Darek said defensively. "Why would I kill him for that? I'd never kill him. He was like a brother to me. He was like a brother to us. What made us special was that we were a team. Why would I—" "You," Darek said to Call, his tone now accusatory. "You want the spoils for yourself, and you're pinning this on me." "That's not true," Call said. "The spoils are cursed. We aren't taking them." Oh, but he wanted to take them. Maybe it wasn't so bad that Finley died. It was one less share of the pay and the reward if they took the spoils. Darek swiftly kicked out the fire, engulfing the entire cave in blackness instantly. Call moved backward, trying to put his back to the wall, swinging his dagger in front of him, thinking Darek could attack at any moment from anywhere. Ryuk quickly fell to his knees and used his blade to relight the fire. When the room illuminated again, Darek was standing in the same spot, his hands up, surrendering. "I could have killed you both just now if I wanted," Darek said. "Will that get you to trust me? The beast's claws likely just barely pierced his armor. It's why the cuts are so thin." It was a good point, but Call didn't trust Darek. But not because he was paranoid, but because he didn't want to trust Darek. It would be one less person to split the spoils with if he could pin Darek and Ryuk against each other, and he believed Ryuk to be honest in his intentions of leaving the spoils. "Ryuk," Call said, "we'll take turns sleeping. Never take your eye off Darek. He can't be trusted." "I'll leave," Darek said. "What? He'll leave?" "That would work too. Whatever those spoils are worth isn't as much as my life." "Leave if you wish," Ryuk said. "I cannot be certain you killed Finley purposely, but I cannot take the chance. I will watch him first if you wish to sleep, Call. I know you couldn't have done it. You never left my sight." "I'll grab my satchel and I'll leave," Darek said. "Stay until the storm is over," Ryuk pleaded. "I do not wish death upon you by venturing out into the blizzard. I just cannot trust you. I hope you understand my position." "I can't sleep knowing Call could put his blade in my back. If that's what you want, then so be it. I'm leaving." Darek slowly walked to his satchel resting against the corner of the cave wall. "Friendships forged by fire and blood. Years of partnership, all burnt to ash in an instant. I hope you know what you're doing, Ryuk," he said, turning and walking out of the cave and into the blizzard. "No, you did the right thing," Call advised, patting Ryuk on the shoulder, the fire flickering. "We could not know for sure whether he did or not. It was in our best safety not to trust him." "But it just doesn't make any sense," Ryuk mourned. "Finley was like a brother. They were best friends. We were best friends." "Greed can make a man do unspeakable things." "Do you really think he would have taken the spoils, even if they were cursed?" Call thought of the look Darek gave him when they put the spoils back. "We couldn't know for sure. You can't blame yourself for doing what was smart for your own safety." "None of us need gold. We aren't rich, but we have enough of it. Would he truly ruin his source of income and friendships by taking it all? Risk the curse? He'd never kill one of our own." "But the beast's claws didn't match Finley's wound. Besides, where would a crag brute get poison?" Ryuk sighed. Call was winning him over. "Gold reveals the worst of us," Call said. "What's that quote from the old stories? You cannot truly know the nature of a man until his life is at risk. The decision he makes will reveal his true self, or something like that." "Maybe you're right," Ryuk said. "It's a shame. We were a good team." "And good friends," Call added. "Aye. Now, let's get some sleep. The blizzard should end soon. I want to sleep before the beast smells so bad it keeps me awake." "Good call," Call said, sliding into his sleeping bag. "We'll give Finley a proper burial when we leave." "A warrior's burial." "Aye. He deserves it." Call awoke. He turned over very slowly and as still as possible, trying not to wake Ryuk. "Ryuk," he whispered. Ryuk snored, laying on his side, his back toward Call. Call slowly slid out of his sleeping bag, grabbing his dagger. He quickly mounted Ryuk, pressed the pommel of the dagger into the palm of his hand, and drove the dagger through Ryuk's heart. They were face to face, Ryuk gasping for breath, his eyes wide, confused. "Sorry," Call said, pressing the dagger further into Ryuk's chest, blood seeping from the stab wound. Call withdrew the blade, standing over Ryuk's lifeless body. His forearm burned again. He raised his sleeve, his forearm now completely black, scales protruding and forming all over his arm, thick brown hair growing out of them. Cameron Craig is a writer based in the Boston area. He wrote screenplays for nearly a decade before deciding to make the switch over to novels. When he's not writing fiction, he can be found likely watching movies, playing video games, or cheering on his hometown team, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Hey guys, if you liked this, Cameron Craig is a returning author. I'll leave links in the description to where you can find his other stories here on the channel. I really liked this story of his because I never really get many whodunit type of stories. I've had a few mysteries in the past, but they are few and far between. Which is a pity because I think fantasy is a perfect genre for mystery. Especially grimdark and dark fantasy. It kind of goes hand in hand. Anyway, if you guys liked this story, be sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment if you're on YouTube. Or if you're listening to the podcast, just be sure to subscribe for more brand new short stories. I'm Chris Herron, and that's it for today's Tall Tale TV.